From catastrophic earthquakes to eye-watering inflation, President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan has never had it so tough as Turks prepare to head to the polls. He's effectively led the country for more than 2 decades, but this could be his hardest campaign yet as he confronts an emboldened opposition. Erdoğan burst onto the scene in 1994 as Istanbul's mayor, claiming to be the voice of the silent masses. He later formed the Justice and Development Party and took charge as Prime Minister, later becoming president. Starting on a liberal platform, critics say he's become increasingly autocratic over the years. The government's crackdown during the so-called Gezi Park protests in 2013 was swift and brutal. A few years later, he survived a coup attempt. Most recently, Erdoğan's popularity has been hit by the government's response to February's massive earthquakes, which killed more than 50,000 people. The economy is also a major challenge, most critically inflation. Annual CPI has averaged more than 70% during the past year. Yet Erdoğan has pursued an unconventional response, strong-arming the central bank to keep interest rates low. So while still popular with conservatives and nationalists, Turks will be voting with their hearts and their wallets in mind.
He's moved Turkey from a parliamentary system to an executive presidency. He's survived a military coup and is the longest-serving leader in the history of the Turkish Republic.
Bu LGBT'cilere hayır diyor mu?
Calling the opposition coalition pro-LGBTQ and accusing it of siding with terrorists, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan is trying to rally his base in hopes of securing a 3rd term as president. For 2 decades, Erdoğan has labeled himself a defender of democracy while consolidating power. Just before Sunday's general election, claims Russia has interfered in favor of Erdoğan. We find it unacceptable for another country to interfere in Turkey's domestic affairs. This fake video has been circulating showing the opposition leader saying, "Come on, together to the ballot box, Turkey, come on." But it was edited to include PKK leaders, a militant group designated a terrorist organization by both Turkey and Canada. In the polls, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu has a slight edge over Erdoğan. He shared the original videos on his Twitter page and says he has concrete proof against Russia. Russia denies the allegations. What can't be denied is the ongoing grief 3 months after deadly earthquake struck. The Red Cross says in Turkey, 2.7 million people are living in tents. Many blame Erdoğan for shoddy building construction and a slow emergency response. More than 45,000 people died following the disaster. Mismanagement, cronyism, and inflation could spell the end of Erdoğan. But he has made a career out of turning the tide in his favor. Crystal Gamansing, Global News, London.
But the president hasn't won this election just yet. After a long night of votes being counted across the country and no clear winner, Mr Erdoğan and his main challenger, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, face the likelihood of a runoff vote at the end of the month. Mr Erdoğan has been in power in one form or another now for 20 years, and Mr Kılıçdaroğlu was seen as mounting a strong campaign, with a motley alliance of parties backing him to unseat his opponent at the ballot box. In the tally of votes so far, Mr Kılıçdaroğlu trails the president, but neither candidate has won more than 50% of the counted votes needed for outright victory. Speaking to supporters in the capital Ankara, Mr Erdoğan assured the crowd he could still win, but he would respect the nation's decision if the race went to a second round vote.
Bir kez daha altını çizerek belirtmek istiyorum.
I would like to emphasize it once again. The fact that the election results have not yet been finalized does not change the fact that our nation's choice is clearly in our favor.
On the streets of Istanbul, Mr Erdoğan's supporters were equally optimistic.
Nothing will change in the second round. I am confident that no one can unseat Erdogan. He is a world leader. He talks the talk and walks the walk.
We'll be out here until morning. Of course we want Erdogan to win the runoff.
For these people, no matter today's result, the party has only just begun.